Hello everyone, myself Priyanka and today we are back again to this channel. So in our previous lectures, we have been dealing about theory of justice from John Rawls' perspective, and in our earlier lecture, we also completed the criticism of John Rawls' theory from different aspects. We also dealt with criticism of John Rawls' theory from communitarian aspect as a whole, okay? So what we will be discussing in today's lecture is about some specific communitarian thinkers and how they have criticized John Rawls' theory. So just to mention that in UPSC's paper, from theory of justice, John Rawls' theory and its criticism, especially from communitarian aspect, okay, it is the most important topic in the theory of justice. So let's discuss about some specific communitarian thinkers and how they have criticized John Rawls' theory of justice. So from the very word communitarian, as we discussed in our earlier lecture, it means that something that is related to our entire society. Okay, it talks about the entire society as a whole. It talks about the relationship between individuals, that is amongst individuals, and between individuals and the entire society. Okay. So this is what basically communitarian talks about. Okay, so the very first communitarian critique of John Rawls' theory is Michael Sandel, and we may refer to his books for the criticism of John Rawls' theory, that is Liberalism and the Limits of Justice, and the another one is Democracy's Discontent. Now, the very first point of his argument against John Rawls' theory is very general, that is John Rawls has considered individual in his theory as isolated self. John Rawls did not, prescribe any kind of activity or actions of individuals while referring to the society. Okay, what John Rawls interpreted in his entire theory was individuals were what they were doing in their personal life. Okay, it was nowhere connected to the society. Individuals were not talking, individuals were not thinking of any kind of action that is to be done for the entire good of the society. Individuals' action were only moral and righteous for themselves. Okay, this is what John Rawls has basically argued in his theory of justice, and that is the first criticism of Michael Sandel, that John Rawls has kept individuals in his theory under veil of ignorance. Okay, that is, individuals are not aware of the entire society. They are not thinking of the society, and when individuals are not thinking of the society, basically they are ignoring the desires, the conflicts, and everything of the society. Because when individuals are not such creatures who would live their life in isolation, they would definitely live their life where the entire society lives. Okay, so individuals are situated self, and hence John Rawls did not consider this theory that individuals are situated self, and hence his theory is of no use as per Michael Sandel, because individuals were kept under veil of ignorance. When we talk practically of the individuals, what their practical, that is actual, not imaginary, but what their actual actions would be in the society, only then we could actually give a very right theory, a theory that could be implicable in all forms. Okay, that is to all societies. So very first criticism of Michael Sandel is that John Rawls has kept the individuals in his theory under veil of ignorance. Okay, he did not talk about the irrationalities, immoralities, the conflicts, the desires, temptations, everything of these individuals. That is very natural. Okay. Now, second argument that Michael Sandel gives against the argument of John Rawls' theory is that John Rawls has prioritized the self before the ends. Now, what is ends? Ends means what we are trying to gain from the entire theory. If we talk of theory of justice, then what are we trying to acquire from that theory? We are trying to actually formulate a just society. Okay, we are not trying to formulate a just individual. So, Michael Sandel says that John Rawls prioritized individuals, and John Rawls talked of the self, that would experience justice in their entire life. But John Rawls failed to talk about the entire society. It failed to talk about the ends. So what Michael Sandel says is that we should prioritize the ends before the self. Okay, so Michael Sandel says that this prioritizing of self before ends is wrong. Okay, if we want to achieve a just society, then we should talk of the entire society since the very start. Okay, if we talk of only individuals, if we talk of only one particular person, I think only that person will be in the benefit and not the entire society. We are basically ignoring the entire society. That is what Michael Sandel argues. Okay, these were the two major arguments of Michael Sandel against John Rawls' theory. Now we come to another communitarian thinker, that is Charles Taylor. Okay, and we can refer to his general, that is philosophical papers, okay, for the criticism of John Rawls. So very first argument that he gives against John Rawls' theory is again that isolated individual. Atomistic means isolated individuals. So Charles Taylor again says that John Rawls based his theory on the atomistic individuals, and individuals are not isolated. Individuals are meant to live in the entire society. They are embodied in the society. Okay, we cannot talk of individuals separate from the society. No, that is not possible. So very first criticism of Charles Taylor is again atomistic individuals, that is wrong as per him, that is given by John Rawls' theory. Then Charles Taylor argues of rights and freedom that exist only in the society. So Charles Taylor says that when you're talking of rights, when you're talking of freedom, when you're talking of justice, why would any person require rights, freedom and justice if the person is allowed to live individually? That means no one would be affected by him, no? No one would be affected by him, and he would not be, he or she, they would not be affected by anyone, right? This is what Charles Taylor says, that we require the concept of rights, freedom, justice, anything, any virtues, only if we live in an entire society. And if you're talking of justice, then you must accept that individuals are not isolated self, rather situated self. So this is the second criticism of Charles Taylor. Then he talks that people are embodied individuals. By this he means that people live in society, okay, and how they evolve in life is first they give an argument, okay, first they give an argument for a concept. They say that this particular concept or theory is right, then they themselves reinterpret that theory by interacting with other individuals, okay. So they interact, they reinterpret their theory, they either say that they deny their own theory or they accept it, okay. Whatever theory the individuals have given, either they accept it after interaction with the individual or they themselves deny it. Okay? And by this virtue of their life and their characteristic, they continue their life. Okay? Whatever moral features, whatever moral beliefs they have, they are carrying in their life, individuals are carrying in their life, that is because of their interaction with their society and their reinterpretation of thoughts, and this is how they live their life. So if we want our society to be just, if we want justice to prevail in our society, we cannot talk of an isolated individual. So this was the argument of Charles Taylor, very simple. And then we have another communitarian thinker, that is Michael Walzer. Michael Walzer, he talks of something different of a critique than other communitarian thinkers. Other communitarian thinkers have basically argued against John Rawls on a same concept, on a same line, right? Now Michael Walzer, he gives a different concept to argue against John Rawls' theory. He talks of simple and complex equality. Now what is simple and complex equality? First we need to understand that. Simple equality, according to Michael Walzer, is what we understand, that is distributing equal resources available in our society to every individual. Okay, every individual should experience distribution of equal resources present in our society. That is simple equality that we understand. Now Michael also gives another concept of equality, that he terms as complex equality. By complex equality, he means that if you are providing one set of social good to any individual, that person do not require another set of social good. What we mean by this is, if you are providing a very high economic status to one particular individual, okay? If one particular individual in our society has a good economic status, that person do not require a very high fame, quite a fine popularity. That is, dignity and other moral aspects are of no use, are of no value to that person. This is what Michael Walzer talked about. He also, and we can take another example also, that he's mentioned that if some person is very much eligible, okay, or very eligible in education terms, that is quite educated, okay, that person do not require good economic status. Okay, so you have provided one set of social good to an individual, so another set of social good is not very much of importance to that person. This is what Michael Walzer mentioned. Okay, he also talked of something that if some person is educationally doing quite well, okay, in some kind of educational institution, if some person has good health directions, okay, so that quality of his or her life should not be contaminated by dominance of money. If you're a good teacher, if you're a good doctor, then I think you should avoid having good economic status. This is what Michael also mentioned, or that is not of quite importance to you. He also mentioned that when you talk of nepotism, that nepotism is solely meant for kinship and love, okay, and nepotism should prevail only in family. And in family where you have nepotism, where you have love, that family values should not be contaminated by male dominance, as male dominance is meant only for military arrangements, military organizations. Okay, so these are some arguments that he gave actually for validating his theory of complex equality. So according to Michael Walzer, human beings, again the very first critique was that human beings are situated self, they live in entire society, and goods are to be done, that when you are formulating any laws or regulation on the basis of good to the society, good that should be offered to the entire society and not to only individuals. And then he talks about the complex equality, that when you are already offering some specific set of good to one individual, you do not require, that is the government do not require to offer another set of, okay, another sphere of social good to that individual. This is what Michael Walzer basically argued against the Jean Rawls' theory of justice. Obviously there are critiques to his theory of justice where he denied that economic status are not very much of importance to any individual. Because Jean Rawls talked about the theory of justice basically from materialistic point of view, that is from the monetary aspect. So he clearly denied it, that economic status is not a way of bringing justice in our society. Okay. So that denial of him giving priority to economic status in the society and for individuals is one of the major critique of Michael Walzer. And also whatever he talked about in complex equality is somehow imaginary, ideal and not very practical. Okay, when there is one aspect in society, like imagine someone quite educated, someone who's a very good doctor, and that person is not getting any economic returns out of his or her job. I mean, what could be that? What could be the motivation for work? Okay, because this is a fact that money and dignity both are required for a peaceful and a complete livelihood. Okay, so we cannot ignore either of them, but Mikhail Volzo, he actually he actually argued that economic status and dignity, either one, can do for individuals' livelihood to continue in the complete sense. So this was all about the theory of justice, that is from different thinkers' perspective and majorly from John Rawls' perspective and his communitarian critiques. Okay, so this topic of theory of justice is complete. Okay, in our next lecture we will be coming up with another topic. Thank you.